What's up everyone, today on RDH Code, we are going to learn about the .svelte file. In the previous video, I talked about the .svelte file in 1 or 2 sentences I guess. In this video, let's understand a bit more about this file type. A .svelte file is a custom file format where we write our code using a superset of HTML to describe a portion of the UI. For example, in our project we have one .svelte file, namely app.svelte, which is responsible for the heading and the paragraph in the UI. So a .svelte file is responsible for the portion of the UI. Next, let's understand the code that goes inside a .svelte file. Each .svelte file consists of 3 sections: script, markup, and style. The script section is where the data and the logic for the markup is maintained. So you could say it is like the JavaScript of your UI. The markup section is the HTML of your UI. It defines the structure. The last section, which is the style section, where you specify the styles related to the HTML written in your markup section. The script section goes within the script tag, the style section goes within the style tag, and everything else is a part of the markup section. As you can see, HTML, CSS and JavaScript, that is all you need to define a fully functional and styled portion of the user interface. So in Svelte, instead of dividing the codebase into 3 huge layers which then come together to form the UI, it is instead divided into 1 or more Svelte files where each file is responsible for its own markup, styles and logic. And what you do have to keep in your mind though is that the browser does not understand what a .svelte file is. So Rollup with the Svelte plugin is going to parse this file, extract each of the 3 sections and assemble them back into a format that browsers can understand. Since we are using the Svelte template repo, all of this is already taken care for us. Alright, now that we have a bit more information about the Svelte file, let's discuss 2 more points which will set us up to finally get started with some code. The first point is about components. Right now we have a Svelte file called app.svelte. In Svelte, a .svelte file represents a component. A Svelte app can contain 1 or more of these components. When learning Svelte as a beginner though, there is a lot to learn with just one Svelte file. We don't have to worry about multiple Svelte files and the component architecture to begin with. So to keep this simple, you are first going to focus on all the concepts that can be learned using just one Svelte file. When we have a good understanding of how the script, markup and style section work together, we will then dive deep into the world of concepts in Svelte. I promise you we will come back to this topic of components later on in this series, when it will make much more sense than right now. All we need is just one app.svelte file to understand a whole bunch of concepts that Svelte has to offer. The second point is about what we are going to learn pretty much for in the upcoming videos. A minute ago I mentioned that a .svelte file contains markup as well as the script which contains the logic for that markup. Let me tell you that a major portion of working with a .svelte file is wiring up the data and logic to the markup. That is connecting the data present in the script section to the HTML present in the markup section. This is the declarative programming approach I was mentioning in the very first video. All you have to do is let Svelte know how you want to bind your data to the HTML and Svelte will take care of the rest. It is this part of letting Svelte know what exactly we want the UI to look like. So let's finally get started with some code in the next video.